All right. Final two matches for us to make some predictions around. Let's get at it. We've got an Eastern Coastal battle here. We've got Gotham and Orlando. We've got New Jersey, New York, and Florida. Gotham, the hosts in this one, 7 p.m. ET kickoff. Look, maybe we should have put this in the unpredictable section, Lisa, because I don't know which way to go in this one. I really don't.
Yeah, this one's a little bit crazy for sure. When you look at these two sides and where they've come from, for Gotham, they've split. They've won one against Angel City in LA, and then they ended up losing at home. This Gotham side coming off that tough loss against OL Reign, that was 2-0. But on the other side, Orlando, they are searching for their first points in this regular season, but they've also had a really tough opening 2 weeks. They went to Portland, and then they welcomed Angel City at home. That was a 2-1 loss at home. But Messiah Bright being an incredibly bright spot for Orlando in that second week game against Angel City for Orlando. Frankly, that was one thing that really excited me about this Orlando side. And likewise, when we're looking at Gotham, they've got Jenna Neiswanger, an incredible rookie that has played all over for this Juan Carlos Amorós, the head coach of Gotham and this team. But this one is a very big unpredictable one. I'm leaning towards Gotham. I'm going to be very honest. I'm just laying it all my cards out there. But I think this one is one that could be a draw. I think that Orlando is going to try to pick up points this week, right? Like they need points. They have 0 points on the season right now. But Gotham also has a lot of pieces that are coming together. I think Midge Purce is going to be on fire this weekend. I think we're going to see a little bit of sparks from Midge Purce. This is a player that wasn't called in over the international break to the U.S. roster. Then halfway through the international break, there was an opportunity for another forward to get called in, and Black Budanowski did not choose Midge Purce. And it is very obvious that the next 2 months in NWSL play is going to be a factor in who makes the final U.S. Women's National Team World Cup roster. And Purce wants her name on that roster. She wants a ticket to Australia, and it starts this weekend for her. I mean, it started 2 years ago for her, but she has to kick it into higher gear this weekend, prove that she can be a catalyst on the field, score goals, contribute. So I think we're going to see a lot from Midge Purce, a lot of good things. Lynn Williams is also in that front line. She didn't get minutes over the international break with the U.S. team. So she's ready to go, ready to play 90 for this Gotham side. But I just think that Orlando's going to tighten up a little bit defensively. I'm going with a draw in this one. But if I like Gotham's probably going to win, but I want to draw. So I'm going with the draw. Sandra, we are ready to chat with you about all of this. Can we hear you?
So here, okay. So let me hear this correct. So you're going with a draw, but you feel like Gotham could win this.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I've got that.
Yep.
Heard correctly. Okay.
Orlando's at home. I just think that like they're kind of going to get lucky.
Okay. I don't listen. I think that there's room for a winner here, and when we're talking about these two teams specifically, they had some very interesting battles last year. And I mean, it went all the way back to the 2022 Challenge Cup. And I'm just kind of like, are we going to see that kind of these games with that sort of like weird synergy between these two teams where it's like, maybe you're going into this type of matchup and you're leaning one way. Maybe that way is Gotham, and maybe there's a lot of good play on the pitch and you're like, yeah, this makes sense. They're going to walk away with this. And then all of a sudden Orlando turns the tide and they steal the momentum. And then all of a sudden they're walking away, snatching the 3 points. You know, I mean, and I'm even thinking back to like a later game for them in midseason where the Pride had the better of Gotham and they defeated them 2-1, I think, at one point in the regular season. And so I'm a little curious of, you know, if there is a winner in this one, if this might be kind of that unpredictable game that I said maybe we should throw it into that segment. But I don't know if this year's version of Gotham is going to allow an opportunity in front of them to slip away, where we maybe saw that in 2022.
I know. Yeah.
There were a lot of those results that happened for Gotham too that were just kind of like how and why and did this one get away from the team? And I just don't think there's that mentality. I just don't think there's that sort of identity that's associated with this kind of team, just because of some of the players who have returned with this roster, some of the acquisitions that they went out to go and make. And add to the team. And I'm leaning towards a win in this one, and I'm leaning towards Gotham. I'm going to go with the winner in this one, even though it is tempting to choose a draw. I think it goes back a little bit to how I was feeling with the Courage and the Spirit. Who's going to have a little bit more going into a game like this? And when I'm looking at Gotham, we didn't get to see a ton from Lynn Williams during this international window. So she is probably going to be ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And what we've seen on the defensive side of things from Orlando, I'm not too sure they've made enough adjustments to withstand a Lynn Williams and a Midge Purce, because I'm with you on that as well. This is it. These are the games that are going to really, really matter moving forward. I heard Andonovsky say in the postgame that there's a cluster of players that are competing for a cluster of spots, and there are two groups of players who are going to be given instructions to just maintain their form in the league, and there are another group of players who are going to be told that not only do you have to maintain your form, but your performances matter.
Yeah.
And I think some players on that team where that's going to be a little bit more of a heavy emphasis. So I'm sorry, you're looking at this game, that opposition, the opposition that has let in tons of goals over the last 2 weeks, you're looking at this as an opportunity, not just as a regular work.
So, okay, give us a Gotham scoreline.
If Gotham doesn't go into this game with at least a 2-0 win, that's going to be a disappointment.
Okay, I like it. You heard it here first, folks.
You cannot have what you have seen on film from this opposition and look at how they have struggled on defense and not look at that as an opportunity.
I agree. I see that one. And they've also got Kelly O'Hara on this Gotham side that's fighting for a roster spot. She's not in pen yet.
So I'm going to go with a pick in this one, even though I feel it's like one of those unpredictable games. So maybe you lean towards a draw, but I can't lean towards a draw.
I like it.
Let's have some expectation. Let's put it out there. Let's have some expectation. Gotham needs to get this win.
They do.
Get some goals.
Oh, they need this win.
We want to see it. Let's go. Let's go with Gotham in this one. We've got a final match to preview. We've got Chicago Red Stars versus Kansas City Current, another team in need of some points. And look, Lisa, I'm just gonna say it out here. These are two teams playing ugly right now. There's this, and this might be, and the week 3 might be another ugly looking game for these two teams. I don't know if we're going to see a ton of adjustments from either side. We know that Chicago Red Stars don't have Mallory Swanson, and they will not have her for probably the remainder of the season. We're doing this before availability reports, so we don't know if Kansas City Current's availability report is slimmer or now longer than what it has been in the last 2 weeks. Who's going to be available for this match? Apparently, we've already heard that KC Current is also talking about Alex Loera as someone who might be unavailable for the foreseeable future. It's like one of these areas.
What are the question marks around Davinia at this point?
There's so many unknowns. There's players, starting caliber players who are eliminated in this one. They've got 2 weeks under their belt where both of these teams have had some questionable performances, and now they're going head-to-head in week 3. What are we going to see? I think we're going to see some not great soccer, and we're going to get a draw because of it.
You think a draw?
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, bad soccer and a draw. Yeah.
If Kristen Hamilton is back for this team, it's going to be all Kansas City. But if she's not ready to go still, there's some things up in the air.
Yeah, I agree with you on all of the fronts. It's going to be sloppy. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be great. There's these coaches, these teams are going to have to reach into their arsenal to try to scrap and scrape and get anything out of this game they can. Now, availability reports will change everything for this, mainly for Kansas City. But with Chicago, the loss of Mallory Swanson, of course, is devastating. But you kind of have to, when you're looking at this team and as a player on this team, you kind of have to turn that page and say, okay, who is going to score for us now? Right? Like, who is going to find the back of the net? Who's going to create these opportunities? She only had 1 goal in the season so far with the Red Stars, but she contributed. I mean, they lost both of their opening games. Chicago has been struggling. Now, Casey Kruger, we're talking about U.S. internationals. We're talking about players getting called up. She's one that got called up over this international break, played and had a great game against Ireland. She's got the confidence back. Tierna Davidson also getting minutes internationally. This is a team in Chicago that is going to lean on their defense, which is what we've seen them do in the past. But from now on out, unless something changes for Chicago, if they get wins, it's going to be 1-0. It's not, they're not going to be a team that's putting up 4 goals a game. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless somehow a random draftee or they get another signing or a trade or I don't know, a little bit of magic and fairy dust over there in Chicago. I'm not sure what's got to happen, but it's not happening. So it's not happening for Chicago this weekend. I don't think they find the back of the net at all. Now, defensively, I could see them staying pretty locked down tight with Nair, Davidson, Kruger, Milazzo. They've got good pieces in that back line. Mm-hmm. But again, it comes down to the availability report of Kansas City. I like that you went with the draw. I'm going to go with Kansas City Current in this one. I think the Current is finally going to get their first win. I think that they're coming into this week 3, Kansas City, with 5 goals against. That has got to be better. And against the Chicago side, I think Kansas City can get their defensive confidence up a little bit. They can get a shutout in this game against Chicago and get 1 goal. Like, this is going to be incredibly narrow. I agree it's going to be sloppy, but I am going to give the edge to Kansas City based on availability reports or not, because we don't know what that is. Of course, if Kristen Hamilton's there, it changes things. If Dabinia can get minutes, it changes things. But ultimately, I'm going to give it to KC on the road.
Honestly, even without the availability reports, if they even have just like CC Kaiser as one of their available strikers, I think Kansas City has the edge in there. I think if there's a winner in this game that comes out of this game, it's likely to be the Current. So, it's like, I'm with you. I think that's a smart.
I think the rookies for Kansas City have also played pretty well. Like, you look at Michelle Cooper, nothing. Yeah. I mean, she's played fine. She's played well. I mean, for a rookie, she's not out here scoring bangers, but I'm not expecting that from her. Alexa Spanstra in the midfield for Kansas City has also played well. Robinson and another draftee for Kansas City also played pretty well. So they're going to lean on those younger players. Mm-hmm. And just imagine once they start getting veterans back and of course, availability report. But if a player's not available to play in a game, it doesn't mean they're not training. They could still be doing non-contact training. They could be doing a lot of things. So that's going to elevate some of these other players for Kansas City. And that's what I'm going to lean on, put my hat on for this weekend.
No, absolutely. Unless Shayna Matthews, they start utilizing Shayna Matthews for the Red Stars, like in a starting role capacity. And she has like an incredible, kind of breakout season, then sure, maybe. But we saw some really cool stuff from her in the opening 2 weeks, but this was all kind of in an off the bench capacity. Mm-hmm. So we don't really know how a forward like Shayna Matthews looks in a full 90-minute game within Chicago's system quite yet. So perhaps we'll get a look at that this weekend. But again, there's just too many unknown variables, I think, for Chicago in this one. I think the best case scenario is possibly a draw and maybe leaning towards a win towards Kansas City. But that's it for the picks. That's it for the predictions and the previews and how we think things might shake out this weekend.